Hey y'all, so I'm back with another story time. This story time gonna be like in different parts because it was a long situation. But before I get into that story time, could y'all please like, comment, share, and subscribe? Okay, so this story time is about me being in a relationship with a narcissist. So, when the relationship, when I first met him, he was real charming. He was real sweet. He was real attentive, like everything. So we both were school bus drivers. And he used to, like, when it be cold outside, he would start my bus up, make sure my bus was warm. If it was raining, he would be there with the umbrella to walk me in. Like, he did like everything. So I was getting out of a relationship, a real rocky relationship. And it probably was, my fault that I dealt with so much because I hadn't got over that relationship and I hadn't got over my relationship with my love. And I kept jumping into relationships to not to be alone. If y'all, I didn't want to be alone. So, we got into a relationship. He was doing everything I had 4 small kids and being financially not where I needed to be. And he was a big help. Like, him being around and being in my life, it was a big help. It made things easier for me. So, we had gotten into this relationship. So, a couple of months into this relationship, he came to me and he was like, because I thought, that he had his own apartment. That was a lie. So he came to me and he was like, you know, me and my kid's mother was staying together, but we wasn't together. But we was just, I was there for the kids or whatever. I'm like, okay. So she got into some trouble with the law, so she had to go to jail for almost a year. So he was telling me that that situation, and that the apartment, he wasn't going to be able to keep it because it was in her name, and all that bull crap. So me being the empath, I'm very, if I feel like it's a situation that I can help you with, I'm willing to do that, especially if you were showing me that you trying to help me. So I'm like, okay, we a team, we can make this work. So I'm like, okay, well, you and the kids can come stay with me. So I didn't have no problem with that because he was, helping me out. He was helping me pay bills. Even though he wasn't staying there, he was doing this type of stuff. So him and the kids came, they moved in. So, like around the time when the kids moved in, like I started seeing a change in him. And he was the type of person that he had a hustle for everything. Like he could fix cars. When it snowed outside, him and his peoples, they would go and plow snow. Like, they had a whole snow plow. In the summertime, they did yard work. Like, he had a hustle about him. So, when the kids moved in, I started seeing like this change in him. He would, leave saying he was going to do a side job or do this or do that. And at first, when he would tell me that he was, going to do a side job, when he came in the house, he would have the money. He would have money to show me. He would give me the money. So all of that started to change. And these side jobs started becoming more and more and more and more, but the money was coming less and less and less and less. So, I had voiced that about him, and he tried to turn it around like I was just nagging him, like, and he would say like, if I'm just sitting in the house, I ain't making no money, but then that's a problem. But when I'm gone and I'm trying to make money, that's still a problem. I can't do both. And I'm like, okay. So, we decided that we were going to move. We needed someplace bigger because, like I said, I had 4 kids. And then it was him and his 2 kids. So, we needed more space. So, we found a bigger place to move in. So, once, once we moved, like, he became, like, real cocky, real arrogant. The place we had moved in, it was real nice. It was like a townhouse. It was real, it was real spacious. It was real nice. So he would, invite people over and be bragging like, like he had did all this by himself, and he didn't. So, he couldn't, like, he wasn't able to get his name on nothing. So, like, this is my stuff. So, a little bit into us, moving into the new house, he came to me and he was like, I want to marry you, like, let's get married. And in my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm saying like, no. But like I said before, like, I didn't want to be alone. He willing to marry me with 4 kids, and that's what I was thinking with my heart, but my brain was telling me no. So I told him, yeah, we'll get married. And so we had opened up an account that we was putting money in to put up for the wedding. So we had, I want to say we had probably about $5,000-$6,000 in this account. So he came to me one day. This went what's that called, a Dodge Magnum, I believe. They was real popular back then in there. So he came to me one day. He was like, I had been talking to this man at this car lot, and he said he could work with me, and I can get this car and blah blah. I'm like, a car? So I'm like, what kind of car is you talking about getting? So he like, a Dodge Magnum. I'm like, and where the hell me and the 6 kids gonna fit in this Dodge Magnum? So then I'm like, and where you gonna get the money from to put down on this car? Because, like, we wasn't rich, but the extra money that we had was going into the account for the wedding. So he was like, well, I could just take the money, that we put up for the wedding, and then I could do whoop-de-wop, and in a little while I'll be able to put it back. And I'm like, no, we're not doing it. So we had a big argument about this, like a big argument. And this was like one of the first arguments that, we really had. So I'm still like, no. And he like, trying to make me like feel guilty about like, what's the big deal? We need another car and this and this and this and that. And I'm like, but the car that you talking about getting, it don't make sense. Like, it don't accommodate nothing that we got going on. Like, make it make sense. So he had walked around for like 2 days with an attitude. He wouldn't speak to me. Like, we was just in the house coexisting. So I guess after those 2 days, he felt like that he needed to say something. So by this time, I don't want to talk. So, um, we left work. We was in the car going to pick up the kids. He tried to have a conversation. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk. So, we get the kids, we go home. So, I had fed the kids or whatever. So I go to the room and lay down. I turn on the TV. So he come in and he like, I'm just trying to see what's the problem and why you got an attitude. Me got an attitude. You the one with the attitude. Like, it's my fault though. Okay. So, I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. So he was like, so we doing all this because I want to get a car and blah, blah this. And I'm like, no. I'm like, but look, peep this. You can go get your car, but we not getting married. I don't want to marry you. So when I said that, it's like I had declared World War III on his ass. So he becomes irate. So I'm like, what is we still arguing about it for? You're gonna get your car, and that's the end of it. Like, ain't that what you had attitude about? That's the end of it. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at TV. So he reach over, he turns the TV off. So I'm sitting there with the remote, so I turns the TV back on. He turns it off. We did this like a few times. So I cuts it back on the final time. I guess he said, oh, bitch, you gonna listen to me. So he punched the TV. Like, this was at the time when the flat screens had first started coming out. He punched the TV and broke the screen. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I jumps up. So I grabs the TV and I threw the TV. It was like probably about a 40-inch in the bedroom. So I throws the TV at him. So, that started a big old altercation, confusion, or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not finna do this with you. Like, these kids here, you acting like a child. Like, you can go get your car. We not getting married. That's the end of it. Like, so, we had like this little room down in the basement. So, I had went down in the little room or whatever, and I'm trying to regroup my damn self, because I'm like, where this personality come from? So, that was the end of that situation. So a couple of days later, he come in, I bought another TV, I'm sorry, and whoop-de-wop, and blah blah this and blah blah that. And like I said, I'm still not looking. Like, red flag, flag on the play, like, this motherfucker crazy. Didn't look at it like that. So, we had made up, and things was going all right for a while. So, I want to say like a couple of months later, the kid's mom had got out of jail. So, the kids went back to her. When this happened, another personality emerged, and he was still like, paying bills or whatever, but the extra mile that he used to go, he stopped, like, and doing things like with the kids or for the kids, it stopped. Like, when his kids left, it stopped. So, I'm trying to see what the hell had happened next. Okay, so she had the kids back probably 2 months. So a situation had happened with CPS. So they gave us the kids back. At this time, he had already been present but not present. So the his youngest child was like, he was still a baby. He was like 1. So he wasn't present. So he felt like I was the damn kid's mama and that I had to solely be responsible for these kids, like getting up, with the baby, doing everything for the kids. And I go to him and I'm like, look, I'm here to help you, but my baby is 4. Like, I'm not. So that caused the whole big problem, big altercation with him saying like, that I wasn't supportive of him, and I wasn't trying to help him in no type of way, and I was treating my kids differently than he is. Like, you treating your damn kids differently. Like, you act like you not they parent. Why do I have to do everything, and then you feel like you could just get up and move how you want to move, rip and run the streets when you want to rip and run the streets, and it is what it is. It's not. So, we was having some problems with the people that owned the townhouse. They didn't want to, do like no work or nothing in the house. So I'm like, okay, we gonna move again. So we moved. We found another house. We moved. So by this time, the baby mama, she cooperating with the courts or whatever, but she only doing the bare minimum. So we still had the kids, but by this time she was able to gain some type of visitation rights. So she instead of her being appreciative of me, taking care of her kids when she wasn't able to take care of her kids, I guess she wanted her kids' father back. I don't know. So she would call him and tell him, make up stories and shit, like, and we'll, we'll argue about this dumb shit. Like, you already know that I get up, I go to work, I tend to the kids. When I come home, when do I have time for extracurricular activities? Because your fuck ass ain't even here. So, like, when? Tell me something. So, one day, I comes home from work. He mad. So I'm like, what's the problem? What's going on? Yeah, what we gonna call baby mama? Bewitched. So he like, Bewitched called me and told me that she seen you at the store and you was all in the security guard face and this and this and that. I'm like, what? First of all, the store that she said, I don't even go in that goddamn store. For one, that store high as hell when I can get the same shit at the Walmart for cheaper. I don't go in there. So I'm like, is we really sitting up arguing about something that Bewitched told you? Like, so I'm like, what is y'all got something going on? Or, cause you don't even gotta play with me. Just let me know and you can go on about your business, cause you makes my damn head hurt anyways. Like, we argue every day. We argue if the sun's sitting too damn high up in the sky, or if the moon rolls on the wrong side of the atmosphere, on the hemisphere. Every day is something. Like, and the only reason why, like, I'm keeping you here is because, like, during that time, I mean, from that time span, I had put him out so many times. And every time I would put him out, like, he'll go maybe 2 days or 3 days, and then he'll call like, well, the kids is feeling a type of way, and he knew what my weakness was, and he knew how to pull on my heartstring, and he knew that those kids was a weakness for me. And they going through this with their mama, and they look at you like a mama, and now they feel like you turned your back on them, and whoop-de-wop and blah blah this, and so I'm like, every time, okay, you can come back. So I'd be like, okay, you can come back. So one year, this was a couple of years in. I think it's about probably 6 years in, 5 years in, of dealing with this crazy narcissist bullshit. So I had started like feeling different and treating him differently. Like we weren't like romantic with each other or nothing like that, because you know when somebody make you feel a certain type of way and somebody constantly is, you know, talking down on you and, you know, picking arguments over little stupid stuff and not being there to motivate you and build you up, you know, it tears you down. So it was around my birthday, and for the past couple of birthdays, I really didn't do nothing because I just wasn't in the, you know, I wasn't in the mood to do nothing, because he had been fucking with my mental so bad that I just, I didn't want to, you know, I wasn't feeling it. So this year was around the time when I really started like sitting and reevaluate myself and was like, you know, Tawana, you, if you keep sitting here dealing with it and taking it, and you gon', you know what I'm saying, he gonna continue to break you down and make you not, you know, make you feel like you're not worthy of no one truly loving you, if y'all get what I'm saying. So a friend of mine, her husband's birthday is like right around the time as mine. So she had came to me and she was like, cause you know we was real cool. So she had came to me and she was like, Tawana, you know my husband want to have a birthday party and we doing it at this one club. It was a nice, the club was big. So she was like, if you want to, you know, we could all, you know, go in on doing y'all birthdays together. And I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. So I goes to him and I'm telling him, and he like, nah, cause you know I don't really like her like that and blah. I'm like, but it's not about you and about who you like. This about me and my birthday. Like you have birthday stuff. You celebrate your birthday. You do what you want to on your birthday. This is something that I want to do. So this is what I'm gonna do. So you know, we had started getting stuff together for the birthday, and like during the whole little time that we was doing everything, he would always have something negative and something, you know, something stupid to say. So finally my birthday come, the birthday party come. So you know, we getting ready to for the birthday or whatever, and he like, I'm trying on clothes and stuff. He like, nah, that don't, I don't like how they looking. I don't like this, and that looks stupid on you. And, you know, just mentally he was trying to break me down. But like I told y'all, at that time, I was trying to get myself out of that mental dungeon that he had me in. So we finally, we gets ready for the party. We go to the party. So, we at the club or whatever. So he starts buying me like drinks. So finally I'm like, you know, enough. I can't drink no more. So the party over, we go home. My best friend, she came home with us too, because like I said, we was towed up. So she and she lived too far to drive all that way home, and my house was like 3 minutes from the club. So we gets home, we get, you know, everybody getting settled or whatever. So he wants to have sex. So I'm like, you know, I don't want to, like, cause first of all, I already hadn't been, you know, like that with him for a while, because it was so much cheating and everything going on, and like I said, like the mental breakdown and the verbal abuse and all that, it was just, I didn't have that desire for him. So I'm like, I'm drunk, my head hurt, I just want to, lay down and go to sleep. So he gets mad. So, he gets to hollering and acting a fool. So I'm like, look, the kids asleep. Calm down, like, before you wake the kids up. So he steady, going, hollering, screaming, whoop wop, this, and this, and that. So I went to grab him because I'm like, calm down. So when I grabbed him, he snatched his elbow back. And when he snatched his elbow back, like I said, I was on the bed. When he snatched his elbow back, his elbow hit me. So, being drunk, I'm like, did this bitch ass nigga just hit me? So we get to tussling. So, he like, yeah, I know you probably was, messing with her husband, and like, it was just stupid shit. Like, what? So that's why you don't want me to touch you and blah, blah, this. And so my best friend, she hears the tussling or whatever. So she comes, she break us up. So I tell him, I'm like, you gotta go. You gotta go. So he leaves. So, I went to sleep, woke up the next day. He outside in the driveway. So he calling my best friend like, could you please tell her I just want to talk to her and blah, blah. I'm like, So, we talked or whatever, and again, he threw up the kid thing, and so I'm like, okay, you come back. Big mistake. So, we was in the house for a little minute or whatever. So I think this was like right around Christmas, I had started hearing again about him messing with somebody. So, I knew the girl name and everything. So, we was finna go, no, it wasn't Christmas. It was right after Thanksgiving. So we was finna go, Black Christmas shopping. So we in his car, so we riding. So I don't know what made me pull down the sunbasket. Yeah, I know Black Christmas shopping, you be out there 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what made me pull it down. But when I went to pull it down, he like damn near crashed the car trying to stop me from pulling it down. But when I pulled it down, this mail dropped out. So when I grabbed the mail, it's the girl mail. So I'm like, I asked you about this girl and whoop wop whatever, and you tell, why is her mail in the car? Well, I had let her use my truck. Why? Why did you let her use your truck? I'm like, and if she was driving your truck, wouldn't her mail be on the driver's side, not the passenger? So, we went through that motion. But at that time, that motion was setting me up to be done with his ass. So, like I said, our relationship, it was horrible. Like, we was basically like roommates. We were just there because I guess it was comfortable it wasn't really comfortable, but it was what we knew at the time. So, we we had coexisted with each other for about a year. So I want to say around, I think it might have been Halloween or something. But we got into it. I told him, leave it. Enough was enough. So he left and went and stayed with a sister of his. I ain't like her because she was with him with the messy shit. Like, she'll smile in my face and knowing that he doing this and this and this and that behind my back, and like she would be hooking him up with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I ain't like her. So I started talking to someone. So I'm gonna get into the story about this friend that I supposed to have had that wasn't my friend, and but we had supposedly had been friends for damn near 30 years, but she wasn't my friend. So I had started talking to this guy, and we were like going on dates or whatever. So somehow he found out, the friend, that's how. But anyways, so he came to me and he crying like, I just want my family back, and you know, this and this and this and that, and let's go to counseling, let's do this, and we gonna make it work, and you supposed to be my wife, and whoop de wop. And at this time I'm like, mm-mm, mm-mm. So he was just, so he kept on. So he was like, can we just go to counseling? I'm like, okay, we'll go to counseling. But me already knowing the type of idiot that he is, like, it ain't gonna work. But what the hell? So we goes to counseling. So we sitting there with the counselor, and the counselor like, you know, he listening to both of us or whatever. So he was like, well, you know, I kind of agree with Tawana on some of the gripes that she have, and the things that you should have been doing that you weren't doing that you need to be doing. And he got mad as hell, cussed the counselor out, stormed out. So I'm sitting there embarrassed as the fuck. So I'm like, you know, telling the councilman like, you know what, thank you. I'm sorry we wasted your time, and you know, blah blah this, whoop blah that. So I goes outside, and I'm like, you know, what was all that for? Like, you can't take criticism. You can't take, this was your idea. You wanted to do this. Nah, he was biased and blah blah blah. We'll just have to find another counselor. No, we won't. I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. So he kept begging to come back. Can he come back? So my job at the time had cut my hours. So basically that was like the only reason like I let him come back, for the financial part of the situation. But when I let him come back, I had told him like, you know, this whole thing is mentally draining to me, and it's, you know, it's too much. Like, I don't have nothing else to give you. Like, I don't have no hate for you, I don't have no love for you, but I don't have nothing else, you know, to give you. Like, so any little thing, it's gonna be a wrap. So he was like, you know, okay, and I'm gonna prove to you that I changed, and I'm gonna show you that I could do right, and you know, blah blah this. I'm like, okay. So I let him come back. So we was like basically like roommates for real. So I say God do things and make things happen for a reason. So like right before the end, the baby mama bewitched, she you know, she completed everything that the courts had told her to do, and they gave her back her children. So he couldn't use that no more. That was a wrap. So my dad had got sick. Well, not my father, but my stepdad. That was my dad. So he had got sick. So he went into the hospital. When he went into the hospital, he never came back from the hospital. But it was like 2 months. So by me being a school bus driver, like, I had like a split. So, you know, once you drop the kids off at school, then you had a time that they at school, and then you go back, pick them up, take them home. So I had a split. So during my split, I would be up at the hospital, and then when I get off work, I would be up at the hospital. And then it would be times like because my dad's situation was so touch and go. Like, I would have to leave the house like early in the morning before I would have to go to work and be up at the hospital. So I was barely at home. So one day he called me and he was like, we need to go. No, he was like, you need to go to the grocery store because the kids, they need this and they need that, and you haven't really been here to make sure everything was, up on the up. So I was like, okay. So that day when I had went on my split, my dad was having a good day. So I'm like, all right, I will when I get off, I'll come home and no, I said I'll go to the grocery store and then I'll come bring the groceries. So he was like, well, the kids haven't really seen you and I haven't really seen you. So like, let's all go to the grocery store together and then we can, no, he was like, you said your dad having a good day. So we can, get, go grocery shopping, then we come home, fix something to eat. If you don't feel like cooking, we can get something to eat and just, spend some time with each other. I'm like, okay. So I'm on my way home from work and I get this phone call. And usually I don't answer numbers that I don't know, but with my dad being in the hospital and things going on with him, like I answered all the calls. So I answered the call, I'm like, hello? So it's a chick on the other end asking me how I know him. So I'm like, what? Now, mind you, this was like our 8th year. So she was like, well, that's my boyfriend, and we've been together, whoop-de-wop, and this and this. I'm like, mentally, I'm not hurt. I'm not there. So I'm like, well, you know what? I'm like, I'm not finna argue with you over him, because I don't care. But, your boyfriend will be there with you real shortly. So I hung up on her. So I called him. So I guess she had called him or whatever. So when he answered the phone, he was like, well, let me explain. I don't want you to explain. I'm like, I need you to be at the house when I get there so that you can gather your things and go on about your business. So he was like, well, I don't want to do that with the kids being there and watching, and can I just come when the kids not here? No, because my kids finna help me pack your shit up so you can go. So like I told y'all in my first story about my love, he had been around like off and on throughout this relationship. I ain't gonna lie, and but so like I say, God make everything happen for a reason. So once he had left and I put him out, and he would call, like he turned into a stalker. Like he would call and harass me, and I found out he was following me. And so one time I had left work on lunch, and my love had asked me could I bring him some lunch to work. He worked down the street from me. So I went and took him some lunch. So when I'm leaving from taking him some lunch, I get a phone call from the crazy one. So he like, so you taking him lunch? And like, sir, is you serious? So I'm like, so you really follow me to his job? Like, you could have came down there and spoke and got your head knocked, but So then like he would call me, and like when my love would come visit or whatever, and my love had a black truck, and he would call me and be like, yeah, I see the truck in the driveway, and like, Sir, are you serious? So one day, like when I had put him out, I had told him, like, give me my house keys. But you know, like when you make duplicate keys, they look alike. So he gave me some keys, but evidently they weren't my keys. So one night it was morning time. But you know how you feel like something eerie? I feel something eerie. So when I woke up, he was standing in my doorway of my bedroom, just standing there crying. I'm like, what? So I got my locks changed. So, I don't know what he had told the girl that he had been messing with, but she started sending me pictures of them. So I'm like, now I knew he had a Facebook page, but evidently he had a Instagram. So I guess Facebook was for me and Instagram was for her. So I goes on Instagram and I look his name up and I go on his Instagram page. So I'm looking like these pictures on the page. You know, they tell you like the 59 weeks or such and such weeks. And so I'm like, how he got pictures from 80 weeks or, and like he would go out of town because him and his friend, they like DJing. So he would go out of town and he would ask me like, did I want to go? I'm like, you know, I can't go because I got kids and I just can't. I don't have nobody to just pawn my keys off on so that I can go. So I'm like, you know, I can't go. So some of the pictures I be looking, I'm like, this when he went to such and such. Who on the trip? But you clowning, acting a damn donkey and a damn fool about me dating somebody. So I guess one night he was drunk and he called me and he had asked me like, did me and my love have sex? I'm like, what? I'm like, what the hell is you like? Weirdo, like what the hell? Oh, because I wanted to give you head. No, thank you, sir. Go give head to sis around the corner. That's who you need to give head to. Like, y'all been in a whole damn 2-year relationship. Picture that. So, I want to say it had been like almost a year of us being broke up. My house caught the fire, my basement caught the fire. And when I tell y'all, I believe that he set my house on fire. So like once they had put the fire out and whatever, you know how the basement had those little windows? It was one window that was busted out, but it was busted from the outside end. The glass was on the floor in the basement. And he just started calling like, if it's anything you need or I can help you with anything, just let me know. I'm here for you. And like it was like he had like a hero complex. And that made me, you know, it made me feel funny and weird, like, and I just, you know, I always had that feeling that he set my house on fire. Like, can't nobody tell me nothing to change it. But I really feel like he did this so that I couldn't need him. I found out, you know, after we had broke up that he slept with a friend of mine, and the supposedly best friend, she knew about it. I found out that she would be telling the one that he was sleeping with, the friend that he was sleeping with, she would be telling her all my business. Like, I supposed to be able to, you supposed to be my best friend. So I'm supposed to be able to come to you and tell you anything, and you hold that secret, but you didn't. So that's how he found out, that the guy that I had started talking to, that's how he found out about that. That's why he hacked into my phone. Um, that's how he found out that, me and my love were back in contact and that we were talking. It was just like I ain't gonna say he manipulated, because everybody was supposed to be grown and everybody was supposed to know what lines to cross and how to handle themselves accordingly. But when you deal with a narcissist, like, they know how to play on you. They know how to play on, they know how to play on your emotions and your common sense and your this and this and this and that. So, like, I don't have no ill feelings towards nobody. I don't fool with them. I don't fuck with them. The supposed to be ex best friend, I haven't spoken to her in years. The one that I found out that he was sleeping with, I haven't spoken to her in years. And like I said, like, every situation that you go through, it helps you become stronger. It helps you to become better. And that relationship helped me to it helped me to grow, and it helped me to understand, like, you don't need nobody. You know what I'm saying? You don't need nobody. Like, it's good to have somebody if that's what God blessed you with and that's what God wants you to have in your life. But it also taught me how to express my feelings and stand up for me. So, like, if there's something that I feel in my relationship, if it's something that I feel like that it's not right, or I feel a way about it, I'm going to speak on it. I don't hold it in. I don't let it build up. I don't let, you manipulate me to feel any other type of way but how I feel. So, even though the situation was trying, it was hard. I always say that mental and verbal abuse, I believe, is worse than physical abuse, because, like, if you slap me, I don't know how to, if you slap me, I can, you know, shake that off, or, we can go our separate ways and it'll be, that it is what it is. But mental, verbal, you telling me, oh, you not this, and you ain't shit, and ain't nobody else gonna want you, and that play on your psyche, and it make you feel like that's what it is. Because how could somebody that say and portray that they love me talk to me like that and tell me things like that? But it's to keep the control. So I did this video to say, like, he's a narcissist. He doesn't have the emotional capacity to know how he treats someone, the effects that it have on them. And when he does something wrong, or he doesn't know that he's doing something wrong, so he try to make it seem like it's your fault. The young lady that that he was messing with for those 2 years. I believe they're still together. I know they have a son together now. I know all this because I know someone that he's, that he had dealings with while he was with the young lady. So, what comes around goes around, and you think you found a prize, but that's what a narcissist does. They make you feel like you or everything to them. You'll do everything until they get you. And they always have a backup plan. So, like, I was the backup plan from the baby mama. She was the backup plan for me. And I believe it's probably a backup plan from her. So I'm going to end this video on that note. And you all make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Have a good one.
Subscribe to my channel for more videos.